In the Integra and Civic, switching 4 lanes with the pedal down, peeling out, racing in a thing.
Looking hard in the Type R, flash the bangs with the windows black, emblem jack, racing in a thing.
Chica, I don't like it if the rims bling bling in the hell.
This is Car Bros Podcast, episode 8.
Woo.
Yeah.
Getting up there.
The Nissan Car Bros podcast.
Yeah, and
so we've got some big sponsors.
Sorry for missing last week. Mm-hmm. We should address that. We just couldn't get our shit together.
Yeah,
there's no
surprise.
There's not a good reason.
We were like, should we record one?
Yeah, it was like, should I come down? And we could have. I guess there really isn't. Mm-hmm. Like, after the fact, I was like, oh, damn, sorry. Although no one said anything, so I don't know.
That shows how big our audience is.
Yeah. You're like, oh, whatever.
There wasn't one? I wasn't listening anyway.
Yeah. So, sorry about that. There's no good reason. But we're back now. Mm-hmm. And this one is, like, super fresh.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be, like...
It's live as live.
Yeah. This is like a day before. So it's going to be hyper relevant.
Some real current events.
So welcome back. Thank you for being here. Mm-hmm. Thank you for all the comments and feedback so far. We didn't prepare any, but there are some.
Thanks, guys.
The next one, I especially appreciate the like long-winded ones. Mm-hmm. Those are kind of cool. Yeah. Just like listening to people.
We're realizing that they're actually listening.
Yeah, get into it. That's kind of neat. I don't know. So happy birthday, Garrett.
Happy birthday.
It's my special day.
It's his special day.
Mm-hmm. As you can see,
the big 2-4.
The balloons that they went and bought for
$3. we broke the bank on that one for sure.
Yeah, we spent about an hour.
Thanks to all the patrons for buying these balloons.
There's also a gift.
Yeah, there seems to be something in front of your laptop. You might want to
I don't know if you
handcraft it. Yeah. You'll like it. It's
anyone that's just listening to this. I'm gonna have to describe it.
We'll describe it.
Garrett's opening a gift.
Okay.
You can hear the wrapping paper.
What's it gonna be?
Oh, is this an Evo?
This might be. Yeah, Evo 7.
Is this Paul Walker's Evo?
Oh, bro, it says it right on there. Brian's very front.
Brian.
Damn. You can tell we
Thanks,
really
yeah. It's Brian's Evolution 7 from Too Fast, Too Furious.
Is this the one that he drives backwards?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was having trouble remembering.
I would have preferred the Eclipse.
Bro.
I would maybe next year.
Yeah.
Tyrese's Eclipse.
You can't always get what you wish for.
That's true.
I actually did look for Tyrese's Eclipse, and if you look at the back of the box, they do not make it, sadly.
Oh, what?
I know. Very disappointing.
Whoever makes these toys, why do they not make
discriminating
the coolest car in the franchise?
That's
convertible
O2 Eclipse Spider, purple, silver.
Have you seen the internet video of there's like an Asian businessman walking to his car, like a red car in a parking lot, and these two people are driving up to him, and it's clearly like whatever generation Eclipse that is, like 03. But it's painted red and it has like the Ferrari badge on it, and they like are like, hey, and he has Lambo doors, and they're like, hey, what kind of Ferrari is that? And he's like, oh, it's like a S12, and they're like, oh, can I see the motor? Like, is the motor in the back? He's like, yeah. And he's like, oh, but I'm really busy, so I can't show it to you. And they're like, start it up, and he's like, sounds like the motor's in the front. And he's like,
it's a commercial?
No, it's like the two dudes in the car are like filming because they see like clearly a fake. Like it's a dude with a Mitsubishi Eclipse trying to say it's a Ferrari. Like it's painted red. Yeah.
That's just sad.
Yeah.
That's
trying to call him on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Monterey video.
Yeah.
It tanked. No, I mean, this is what it was.
Yeah.
It's probably our worst video ever. To be honest, I'm shocked we even got it out. Because, like, we went into that with nothing. And like uploading it, people were like, "This is great." It's like, it is.
Yeah,
like, cool.
Well, the thing is, like, a video like that, I don't think it's ever gonna be like popular. Like the topic is dude, did you see that Monterey video? Like, unless
no one cares.
Unless we actually did a whole bunch of like the really fucking embarrassing stuff.
Even then, how did SEMA do good? Like,
I think it's because people are just like Googling the hell out of SEMA.
I guess
during SEMA week.
SEMA just the show. SEMA's like the worst show.
People love it.
I think it was just the title.
Yeah, or whatever. Well, what was this? Oh, yeah.
But the thing about the SEMA video is that's 3 years old now. I guess. So every year around SEMA time,
every November,
that video gets a big spike.
Starts blowing up.
Because we like purposely did not put a
timeless.
Year. It just says Car Bros gets banned from SEMA.
Timeless humor. Yeah, that's fine. I'm kind of like, I don't know, kind of over car shows. Even that one is like, are we really doing this? This repetitive? Holy crap.
LA Auto Show.
That's so repetitive.
It's coming up.
I know. We should actually put some thought into that.
Maybe just the awards.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll think about it.
Carbros Gala.
Yeah. That other video I'm working on is coming along. I bought coilovers for the M5, which is pretty exciting. And a bunch of new camera gear and stuff. Hoping for October 1st. That'd be nice. But I'm not sure.
Don't hold you to that date.
That's only like, are you just going to film that by yourself?
Yeah. Well, I just need someone to run a drone. That's the only thing, because some of the shots are pretty complex with a drone.
Professional drone pilot.
Yeah. So I got to like find someone who can do
Find
that.
a hot shot.
Yeah. We'll see.
The maverick of drones.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll figure that out. So here's something I noticed while I was driving down today, 3 hours. There is a CRX coming up in my rearview mirror. I was like, oh, damn, CRX. Here he comes. You want to talk about a car with presence. And like, he was kind of in his like red and lowered and whatever. Not like crazy tricked out, but it's like, it's a CRX that like the owner obviously thinks is cool. And so it's like, he's coming up on the highway. And I was like, I bet there's going to be a big dude in this.
Yeah.
Sure enough, 2 big dudes in a CRX. Both of them, just big, like over 300-pound dudes.
Jesus.
In a CRX. And it's like, why are big guys always driving CRXs?
Those things are like super roomy for.
Are they?
As small as they are.
Is that what it is? Just that they're roomy? No, roomier than a Civic.
No, but it's just a big guy can.
It's available
He
to
can
him.
sprawl
Like
out.
a 300-pound guy like probably cannot drive a Miata.
Yeah.
Right. Well, no, definitely
Physically
not.
can't.
Right.
even-
I can't even fit in a Miata.
But
Well,
a
I'm just
CRX
tall.
is like welcoming.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just thought it was funny. It's like frequently when you see a CRX, it's a big dude driving it, like a big Asian guy or something. It's just like mobbing it. It's like, why? Why are they?
Hindering the the crappy
I don't know what it
performances
is.
even.
If they're just.
Do you remember in high school, like there's a big Asian gentleman
dude.
that drove a CRX?
Yeah, kind of.
Sure.
I'm not surprised.
I believe you. Yeah, I don't remember, but
Yeah, well, I think remember when we used to just spend hours hanging out in the parking lot.
Yes.
Yes.
He would drive by,
Kind
and
of.
you'd hear his stereo like.
Yeah. Typical Honda stereo. Yeah.
That was a big boy.
I just thought that was pretty sweet. I wrote that down while I was driving. I was like, I'm going to talk about big dudes and CRXs on the podcast.
hot take.
So if you're a big dude with a CRX,
Yeah, let us know.
let us know
let
why
us
you
know
like
why
Send
you
us some
like it.
photos.
Yeah, send us some photos of you
Yeah.
driving.
Or,
You in
or,
your
or if
CRX.
you just see a CRX with a big dude in it, take a photo.
Yeah.
Tell us your big dude story.
Gen 1 or Gen 2 is allowed.
Yeah.
Preferred.
I told you this podcast would be hot and relevant.
No one is going to talk about these topics.
Yeah.
All the mainstream guys are afraid to talk about these pressing.
The big outlets won't talk about the real issues like Carbros will, like big dudes and CRXs. Big boys. Damn. Everyone else is just like, they know.
So far behind.
They know we've thrown down the gauntlet. Okay. Here's something actually relevant that we've been meaning to talk about. And luckily, they're so slow releasing it.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Even though we've like meant to get to this for months, it hasn't mattered. The new Supra. What do we think? Personally, I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, you have high or not.
I'm hopeful.
Hopeful.
That it's going to be good. By my standards, for whatever that's worth. But probably not by anyone else. Probably not by most people's standards. It'll probably be a failure.
Well, they just did the like first drive, whatever.
First impression.
What do you mean by failure? Like they're not going to sell?
They'll probably sell decently.
I think they'll sell like crazy, to be honest.
You think so?
I think so.
Crazy.
Just because the name. Well,
People are that dumb.
like,
Yeah.
well, it also depends on the price. Like,
Yeah.
the
It depends
F-
on a lot of things.
I mean, the FRS is like super popular, but that's just because.
Would you say that sold like crazy?
I would think so. I see them everywhere.
I thought those weren't selling that. Well, I don't know. I don't know what they're expecting.
Well, when it first came out, I think
No car like that is ever going to be
mainstream,
right.
You know,
it's still
pretty
sports
specialized.
car.
I think there's a problem with those kind of cars, and the other one I'm thinking of is the NSX, where it's like
the new one.
Yeah, they wait a long time to release a follow up, and people's expectations are so skewed.
Yeah.
Because they're hoping that they follow up not the original car, but the hype of the original car. Like, I guarantee you most people are like,
The romance.
This Supra better have like 1,000 horsepower. You know, it's like in their mind, it's like, this better be the king of the road in just this like crazy tuner, whatever. It's like, that's not what that car necessarily was.
Yeah, people just turned it in.
When it was new.
Toyota didn't give a fuck.
Toyota, that wasn't their goal.
Yeah, when they engineered the block, it was purposely designed so it could handle like
Yeah,
1,200 horsepower.
How do we make this thing popular in 10 years when a movie comes out?
How do we make this thing popular for people that are going to street race in Florida on the highway?
Yeah, like single turbo, like dyno queen. Like that car became this other thing, and like that's a whole other topic.
Yeah.
Of like what the Mark IV Supra is today. But for them to release a new one, which is also just like crazy to try to follow that car up more than any other car.
Well, the thing is that the new Supra is not really even a Supra. I mean, like they're just like, well, we have this cool name, we can put it on this.
Yeah.
Like,
what is a Supra?
Does that thing
though?
even have a back seat? The new one?
I don't think so. I think it's two seat.
That's, I mean, it's like a pure. It also looks like way smaller. Than
Yeah, it's super small.
So like
I thought I read it had a shorter wheelbase than the FRS, which
yeah,
is like
either that
crazy
or like
short.
shorter overall length or something. Yeah, it's
But
like
very
it's
compact.
not much bigger than an FRS.
It's not a big car.
But the 4th gen Supra was a big car.
Yeah.
The one before that was big.
Considering maybe by today's standards, it's not super big, but it was
At the time, yeah.
yeah on par with like a luxury coupe,
Right.
what I would consider like an 8 Series even.
Yeah.
at the time.
Wait, did the 4th gen had a back seat?
Yeah,
Yeah, just not. Yeah,
yeah, all of them did.
yeah, that's right.
I'm sure it was just embarrassingly small,
Right.
But it still had one. So yeah, it's kind of weird that they brought it back.
Well, they're just like, I don't know when they were developing that thing where they were like, we need a new Supra, or they just like, we need a new sporty car that's,
Hey, let's use the
powerful.
Supra.
Right. Oh, we got this Supra name.
Yeah.
That'll get people excited.
Yeah, it's kind of odd. The whole thing is odd.
Yeah.
And the little bit that I've read about, because now there's some like initial drive
Right.
stuff, and it's like,
Yeah.
like what is it? It's just like generic.
A more
Car.
powerful FRS.
Yeah, my hope is that like when they did that with the NSX, when they did the initial drives, I think they were pretty negative. Like
Yeah.
people were pretty hard on that car, and it seemed, at least from my perspective, it seemed like they took a lot of that feedback before they released it, because a lot of that could have been fixed and was fixed in software,
Right.
basically, because it was all like the balance
Too many
between
nannies.
electric motors and no,
Yeah.
it was just like it was something where it wasn't like we need to like engineer new
Yeah.
suspension. It was just like
Alter
they
some
don't
parameters.
like, yeah, it was just like it's so much in the software that they improved it quite a bit. But I think the initial, but like that was another car when it came out, people were like the NSX should be like this razor edge, like pure essence of driving. It's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck are you
Yeah.
talking about? That has nothing to do with the original.
The original, like it was that, but that's not what it, at the time. That's not what it was designed. It was designed to be an exotic, like a fairly attainable exotic.
An attainable exotic, and it was designed to be extremely high tech.
Right. It was
Yeah.
very advanced.
It's very advanced. Just because like
now it looks
1989's
simple.
very advanced
Yeah.
is today's like wow,
Analog.
extremely analog. It's
Steering
like-
feel.
No, at the time it was like crazy all aluminum body
Yeah.
and like VTEC. That might have been the first car with VTEC.
It was around there. Yeah.
It was like one of the earliest ones. So it was like, it was very exotic, but attainable.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what they tried to do with the new one. It's like, here's like,
It's like McLaren's
McLaren-esque
Yeah.
performance. And people just get so bent out of shape.
Yeah.
It's like, first of all, you're not going to buy one.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3% of the people complaining are even like in the market.
Yeah.
But I think the Supra is just doomed to be a failure in the public eye because who even fucking knows what the consensus of what that car is supposed to be to people.
There's like, oh, I'm gonna pull the motor out and put a 2J. And I'm like,
yeah, it's like
why?
that car. It's just like you're just gonna
just because they put the Supra name on it.
What was that one comment where they referred to like they were upset that BMW was making the motor and they were hoping for a 3JZ or something?
Was that a joke?
I think that was a real.
I think it was like the Supra. If the Supra doesn't have a motor that you can tune to 1,000 horsepower, it's a fail. It's like what? What do you?
If it doesn't have if you can't instantly void your warranty.
Yeah, the one place where they, I do think that car will just immediately be, a failure in a lot of people's eyes is if they don't give it a manual transmission.
Yeah,
That's just such an oversight.
Yeah.
Because at that point, it's like, who are you targeting with this thing? What is the actual audience? Why would you call it something?
And the other thing that's weird is they're still like they've let people drive it. They still like haven't said how much, like even like a ballpark of how much it's going to be.
No, I don't think so.
And they haven't even said like how much. I mean, what is it supposed to be, like 350 or 375 horsepower?
3 to 400 is probably a safe bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's what's weird too is the Z4 pretty much followed BMW's regular.
Yeah.
Like there were some spy shots.
Right.
And then they kind of like teased it.
Yeah.
And then they showed it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't know anything about the Supra,
Yeah.
the Z4 wouldn't have, it was nothing. It was normal.
Right.
And like that car. Although I've read that car is pretty good to drive.
Sure.
But like, I don't know. It was a bit of a weird one. I think they're just using the name to
How
sell
much?
a car.
How much? Like, are they similar cross? Or we just don't know yet.
There's a bunch of different stories. We don't know.
Yeah.
But it sounds like they definitely share a chassis. Like they had some starting point.
Yeah.
And then the motor will probably be the same.
Right.
And maybe even the transmission.
Probably. I'm sure it's probably just a ZF.
Yeah.
That's what all the Beamers use, right?
Yeah. It looks kind of, I don't know. That didn't do a ton for me, the new Z4.
Oh, yeah.
We saw it at Monterey.
I don't think the Supra looks. I mean, it's hard to tell with that
Camo.
but like,
Yeah.
it doesn't look substantial. It looks like looks like a small. It looks like an FRS. Like
Yeah. I think it'll look neat.
like if someone showed me that and said this is the like second gen 2020 FRS or
Yeah. They really
86
should have
whatever,
called it.
I'd be like, oh, well, there
They
it is.
should have just called it the FRS or whatever. Just a new.
Well, now it's called the 86.
Right.
Or they should call it the 87.
It'll always be a Scion.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's tainted. Yeah. But yeah, new Z4. It seemed fine, but I actually like the outgoing one. People talked a ton of shit about that thing.
And they sold like 200 a year.
Yeah, they don't
or
sell that
something.
well, but like I think it's an attractive looking car. It's better than the one before it, and it's better than the Z3. That thing was super dumb looking.
I actually saw like a Z3 the other day.
I still see.
Of course.
Well, Z3s were popular when they came out.
I'm sure they were, but they look
that-
kind of dorky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's like
The M Coupe's fine.
and the Z4 was popular when it came out.
But anytime you see a Z3 now, it's always like 60-year-old white guy,
Yeah.
top down.
They're ratty. They're
Yeah.
usually pretty
Yeah.
ratty. And then, the clown shoe, which is also just like, they're fine, but it's another just like total circle jerk car. Like, they just don't do anything for me. Yeah. They're cool, but I wouldn't, they're just stratospherically priced now.
The thing that I don't like, I mean, I'm not like I don't even like the 4th gen Supra that much. Like I think that kind of goes the same for all of us.
Yeah. I think they're cool.
They're
I don't
neat,
think
but
they're worth.
yeah, they're like
They're overhyped.
religious following those cars. But like it just feels weird. Like we're gonna build this car, but BMW is gonna like.
Yeah.
I think people kind of want a Toyota, which seems weird to like idolize a new Supra that's
I know. Well, they want
65%.
They want so
BMW.
bad. And I do too. I want so bad for it to be good.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to be like, you know how the Lexus, whatever, LCF or something?
LC500?
No, what was their supercar? That
LFA.
LFA, yeah.
Oh,
you know how it has like all that crazy technology with like the moving tachometer and digital displays? Do you think they're going to add that kind of stuff to a Supra or just keep it more basic?
I think it's going to be a pretty basic car.
But it'll still probably be expensive.
I don't see how that thing could be expensive.
I don't know.
Really?
I think it's going to be expensive.
Man, if it's not in like the high 40s,
I think it'll probably be in the 40s.
that's just a flop to me. 50 grand.
I don't know. Well, the last Supra was very expensive.
Yeah, but it was kind of worth it.
Yeah.
Like they
Well,
tried
that's
pretty
what I mean.
hard.
That's what I mean. Not only that, but whenever the stupid thing actually arrives, like year and a half, or like whenever you can actually buy one, dealers are gonna fucking like milk that son of a bitch.
I know, 100 grand. Yeah, I wonder. We'll see. I'm curious. I think everyone is.
Yeah.
It's like, hurry up. I'm curious. I wonder why they're taking so long. There was a part of me that was like, they're developing a manual.
Or they're,
Like
there's got to be something wrong, like in their testing or manufacturing process.
Well, hopefully, I doubt it's anything wrong. Like, we can't. It's Toyota.
Yeah.
Like, they don't make those kind of mistakes. But my hope is that they got some kind of feedback where they were like, we can't release it. Which to me, and is a total pipe dream. But a manual transmission would do it, where it's like, yeah, we can't launch this without a manual. And that would cause a big delay.
Yeah.
Because you'd have to like recertify a bunch of shit. You might even have to like re-crash test stuff.
And if they were going to do a manual, I'm sure they'd want it to be good.
Yeah, it'd have to be good.
They're not going to just like throw something.
But like,
in
I
there.
guarantee you, day one, if it doesn't have one, people
Well,
are
the
just going to
Z4
lose their shit.
does the Z4 have a stick? The new one?
It doesn't need one, no. But it's like that car's
that one
fine.
doesn't have one either.
That doesn't, like maybe some.
I was just going to say, if it did,
it'd be a big indicator.
Easy. Yeah, it'd be easy to make it.
Yeah, I mean, the weird part about the new Supra, and I think you mentioned this, is like, if it's not better than an M2, like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Because it's going to have it's going to have a worse engine.
Yeah, the M2 is already like really good.
It's like stellar.
And that's like 60 grand.
The M2 is basically a better Supra
Right.
than whatever this thing's going to be.
Yeah.
Truer. It's
Right.
going to be a
It's the same-
truer Supra.
Built by the same people.
Honestly, the new, and I kind of thought this when it came out, the M4, the current M4 is basically a Mark V Supra.
Yeah.
It's a twin turbo straight six. It's very nice and luxurious. It's
the size is about the same.
The size is comparable. It's got a better back seat.
Right.
It's like, it's kind of catered to that audience.
It's probably priced about the same.
You can build the shit out of that motor if you want. That motor's like crazy. Yeah, it's like, that is it. There it is, folks.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, there you go.
And I think I guess Toyotas are still pretty reliable because they're all simple.
Yeah.
But I think that's one of the things that makes the Supra popular is because it was pretty stout.
That was huge. That was part of it.
But like this is not going to be. I mean, it'll be as good as any BMW is, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not a fucking. Drive this thing 300,000 miles, and I think that so much of the appeal of the Supra is tied up in that.
I know, it's kind of like why. I think it's, as we're talking about it, even I wonder if it's just a pretty unfocused product.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like, whose decision was it, and what's the vision of the car?
Right.
Because it's, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they set out to build a new Supra.
I know.
They were just like, oh, what should we call this?
I bet it was like, we've got an opportunity.
Because really, the Lexus RCF or even the LC is like, that's way more.
Really,
of a Supra
the LC 500, all things considered, is a more fitting Supra.
Right.
Like in some ways.
Yeah.
Really, that car's sweet.
Yeah.
Those things are fucking sweet.
Yep.
But yeah, like that might as well have been the Supra.
Right.
This is just weird. This is just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. Mm-hmm. I think it's like, I was thinking about this the other day, and I think the lack of vision is a big part of it. But like, how, as a car company, how can you make a car that's not good?
Ask Nissan.
Yeah, like, I kind of think, and I'm like, that's such a simple question, but also just like, how can you let it out the door?
Yeah.
Without being good? You're a car company. You have one job. You know, it'd be like if you go to a pizza place and the pizza's not good. It's like,
sorry.
How is this not good? You're a pizza place. This is what you do. It's not like, it's like, this is your product. And I think what it is, I think it's just a symptom of the size of modern corporations, where you bring in management and whatever, employees at all levels that aren't into cars.
Yeah.
That didn't start at the bottom. And if you promote, like, I was actually thinking about this because I read something about In-N-Out managers make like a shitload of money or something. Same with Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, like the individual store manager.
The individual store manager, just all throughout the ranks.
Yeah.
They're paid pretty well.
Right.
And I was reading something where it's like I don't think they hire management
From outside.
anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Only from every upper management. You know, I'm sure at some levels of the company that's not true, but like within the store, you had to start
peeling
potatoes.
Yeah.
And it's like, duh, that's a better way. That's hard.
Right.
It's really hard to do.
Yeah.
But I think that's what's going on at car companies. Is it's just like, oh, like, it's like the CEO of Ford.
Yeah.
Like, was he from like Steelcase or something?
I guess.
James Hackett or whatever. It's like, surely he's a great, they picked him.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's great, but it's like, you're not,
Yeah, he didn't.
you're only going to get such a good result from someone who just fundamentally doesn't like give a shit about cars.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I worry about them. And I think this is that kind of case, like with the Supra. It's like, what is this thing?
Well, I mean,
even?
the guy that's like engineering it is good. That he's the same guy.
Yeah,
that
but
did it.
he's only
right. He's
gonna have
just
so much power.
Right. He's not like a product planner.
It's probably it's like also like designed by committee probably in a lot of cases, or designed to a price point.
Yeah, it's like you get someone. Yeah, like the chief engineer is probably a badass, whoever he is,
right.
And then like that's about where it stops.
Yeah.
Like beyond that, it's like, how good is he at winning arguments?
Yeah.
When like whoever is in finance is in charge of whatever.
Right.
It's like how often and how hard and how successful is he going to be at going to the bat when it's like, no, cut this thing down. He's like, no, fuck you. It needs a manual or whatever. It's
Right.
like, I think that's why you get cars where it's just like, why does this thing suck? Like, why isn't it good? And like, I don't know. I feel like that's why in some ways cars were better a couple decades ago.
Yeah.
Even though they're not, in a lot of ways, they're way better now. But in a lot of ways, they were better back then.
Did we talk about the Camaro being kind of like that?
No.
Like,
What?
Just how they could make look at all these complaints of the fifth gen.
Yeah, visibility and
Yeah, and apparently they pulled the owners, the actual people who bought it,
yeah.
and were like, "Were you okay with that?" And they're like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
But of course, because you fucking bought it.
You'll
Yeah.
justify.
What
it.
about all the people that didn't buy it?
Yeah, it's just interesting because
they-
like
they
you
just-
had to sit in it. Someone had to say this is acceptable.
Right.
Like how can you ship a product that you're not just like stoked about?
Yeah.
How can you work for years?
Like how are you going to make something and like take it to the auto show and someone's, man, I would not want to drive this thing.
Like there are dudes who have been working 40 hours a week for years on the Supra.
Yeah.
And there's probably a lot of them that are like, this thing's gonna suck. Like, how's that possible?
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
Yeah, I just think everything on the Supra is going to be related to price.
Yeah.
If it's like Mustang GT money, then
That'd be awesome.
Then fine. I mean, like, let it be whatever.
That thing started at like 32.
But I feel like it's going to be. There's not really any real reason for it to be expensive, but I think it's going to be expensive.
Just development costs, probably. Well, it depends if.
Well, it's that they're fucking sharing. Like, it's not even their own.
I know.
But it depends on like how much they're sharing, or like are they just?
I mean, I'm sure there's costs
We'll
involved,
see.
but
Yeah.
if that thing's like 50 to 60 grand, I don't know.
Or it'll like not sell well and then be really rare and then be popular for some reason.
in 10 years.
CGI Paul Walker is gonna like drive on Fast and Furious 12. Who knows?
Yeah.
I am still hopeful that it'll be good, but like you want a car like that to just be a grand slam,
Yeah.
and I just don't see how it could be.
Let me ask you: if it is good, would you buy one? Like, would you?
I'm just never gonna spend 50 grand. Like I'm just not the type of person. If I had that much money, I would probably. I'd consider it. Although the use of a 2-seater car.
That's what I mean. Like, I'm just not in the market for one, so I don't really care either way whether it's good. I mean, I'm interested to see how it does, but I'm not going to buy one. So
I don't know. I'm
can't
just
really
such a like frugal person.
Yeah.
Like 50 grand, I'd just get an NSX, an old one.
Yeah.
Like NSX or a ZR1. Like the list of cars I would get with 50 grand. Like ZR1 versus a new Supra, really?
Yep.
Fucking stomp that thing with a ZR1. Give me a break. 203 Cobras. Like my mind just goes to town on all the stuff I could have instead of that. But I don't know. So it's like I'm not really the market either, but
I don't think any of us are.
yeah, who knows? But yeah, I don't know. I'm just always like, how do you make a car that like could have been better and wasn't? Like, what was the reason? It's kind of a bummer.
I always go back to the Camaro, but I think it's because I wanted one so badly.
Yeah, it's funny to want something that bad.
And I was
It's
like, fuck, this thing is like, this thing drives like awesome. You know, it's like, man, like it is not fun to be like
No backseat.
And it's not like, well, there's a reason. The reason that it's very uncomfortable and weird to drive is because that's what makes it handle. So
Yeah,
it's
there's no way around. Like
it's like, no, the reason is because someone wanted it to look like that.
Yeah.
And almost everyone that doesn't buy it for the same reason.
And it doesn't look that crazy good. That'd be one thing. If it was just like, dude, but that thing, if it was like 3 feet off the
or it looks like a fucking like Lamborghini Miura.
Yeah, just totally bizarre looks, but it's like not even that.
And then the other thing, like
different.
the height, like the 1LE, the ZL1, like you can say, okay, I'll put up with this to drive, but like then you see the guy driving like the
V6
the like
or
LT,
punching
it's like, wait, so you put up with all the bad parts,
none of the
and
good parts.
You have none of the, like, okay,
4-cylinder car.
Enjoy.
Yeah, well, at least like part of the team was solid. Whatever dude was heading up the like steering and suspension design, was killing it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think about like an example to me of a company that clearly does it right in my eyes is Tesla. And I think that's why I'm a huge Tesla fan.
We know.
And
Shocking, yes.
Yeah. I say it a lot. And like, I'm probably obligated to say this, but I'm also a shareholder. So all of these views tainted. Let me tell you why that stock's about to double. Like all of you should go buy it. But every car they release is just like great. And it's only been 3 cars. Like, it's not like they're just cranking them out, but it's just like, they're so good. They're so crazy good that people they go nuts for them. The release is like an Apple event.
Yeah.
Forever. Even their pedestrian car, people are just shitting themselves over it. And it's like, you can like the design or not, and that's why they get so much like hate. But it's like, they didn't let that thing leave until it was right. There's nothing on it or
isn't that the one that's had all those problems of, I mean, like, well, I guess design-wise it's fine, but
design-wise,
production-wise,
all that production stuff is just a mess.
That's gonna
clear, and it's it sounds like it's better now.
That's kind of inevitable,
but it's like, that's part of it,
Yeah.
and it's just like, that sounded like a fucking shit show.
Yeah.
That I guess got smoothed out or whatever. I mean, I was kind of thinking about that. Like, first of all, you have to release the Model 3, like release it under this crazy aggressive deadline.
Yeah.
Like way too aggressive. And then you finally get one out, which I'm sure was just like glued together. And it immediately goes to like Motor Trend to be like the most scrutinous people are immediately
a lot of people were saying the same
testing
thing about the Giulia.
Yeah.
Like that's one of those cars that like, I think it was like available like a year and a half or something, like after, like it's like the opposite of the Supra where they've been, just working on it and hyping it up. They like, this is this car, and now you can buy it. And I think that's.
What do you mean? They took too long to release it?
No, it was like
it was a fast release.
It was the opposite, and I think that's why like they had a lot of problems with those things.
They released it too soon without testing.
Yeah, like I don't know. I don't know if you read any of like
about the Giulia?
Yeah, like when it came out
remember.
a year ago, like our car broke down. This broke down.
Oh,
this broke down. Oh, it's an alpha. It's going to break down, but it's like it's because they like it was just
because they rushed
it wasn't in the oven long enough. Is what it sounds like.
I don't know if that car could have been in the oven long enough. Like it's just an advanced car with like a motor they've never tried before.
I mean the platform, the motor, like everything was built from the ground up, and it was like not very long from like this exists to
I read some stuff about that car where it was like they tried to get a bunch of stuff done because a bunch of people were quitting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like there was a window of time to make that thing where they could still take advantage of Ferrari being partly owned because Ferrari spun off, didn't it?
I think it's back. It's back part of Fiat, I think.
There was some weird thing where like they lost control of Ferrari or something,
I
and it's like that car. The story of that car is like there was a little window
they came together
to utilize a ton of people from Ferrari or something. So I'm sure it was rushed in a lot of ways, but it's good.
It's just weird because it's like whether it's games or like it's like here's a game we're working on maybe it'll be out in 6 years. Like
we're not sure.
Well, it's like that's just kind of how I guess it's all marketing.
Yeah.
But that car was in a way, it was like, I think like when they showed it, it was like, this is the car. It wasn't like, here's a design sketch of what we're working on.
It's not
like,
a concept or something.
Right,
it's like,
like,
this is the...
Yeah.
I'd have to go back and look. But.
Yeah. Well, everything I've read, even now, is like, they're still pretty unreliable.
Right.
Like people will drive and it's like, I got a bunch of like check engine lights.
I was like, I kind of want one of those because
I think
cheap.
those cars I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are. Reliability will just kill the value of a car.
Yeah.
Like if you want like number one thing, I really believe if you want a car to be valuable for a long time is reliability. Like an old car that's just like, that's why Mark IV Supra, that was like one of the biggest things.
Yeah.
It was just like, these things are bulletproof. And like a 300ZX was like a mess.
But then again, well, I guess nowadays it seems kind of weird. Like I will spend a ton of money on a Mark IV Supra because
now the story
because I don't want to spend money to repair.
No, it's like that doesn't really hold up now.
Right. Yeah.
Like the story has become a thing.
Right.
But those at least like 10 years out were the most popular. Because what was the alternative? RX-7? Those things were like catching fire.
3000 GT.
3000 GT with like active aero that kind of worked.
300ZX that you like almost cannot work.
300ZX, I had one of those. Twin turbo. It's like just working on that car. I remember talking to someone about it. It was like, yeah, they're really not that bad to work on once you take a bunch of shit off.
Yeah.
Once you get the motor out, it's really not that bad.
Yeah, it was like once you take all this crap off in the front, like
tons of room.
Then there's a bunch of room. And it's like,
isn't that part?
Like, yeah, I guess. Every once in a while I'll see a clean 300ZX twin turbo at a car show. It's like, damn, yeah, that's good. And then like you'll see it with the hood open. You're like, that's right.
Yeah, I remember.
It's just like there's a wiring harness and then there's like a vacuum hose harness. It just hoses everywhere. It's like, ugh. Mm-hmm. But Supra was just bulletproof.
Yeah.
I mean, relatively speaking, stout and reliable.
By the way, unrelated, but did you look at the Subaru yet?
To see what's wrong with it?
Yeah.
No, I haven't taken a single thing off of it.
John and I, last weekend, we went to I guess it was a hybrid of a track day and an autocross.
Yeah. It was just kind of like an open track day, but it was at
the go-kart track.
At Button Willow.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was actually like the best event I've ever been to.
I took my GTI and it ran perfectly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Didn't even break a sweat.
Yeah.
And then John took his STI race car.
Well, yeah, when we decided to go, like Garrett had already signed up in his GTI, and he's like, bro, you should go to this. And I was like, okay, but I have to get a trailer.
And I was like, that's a great idea.
No. He was like, just drive it, bro. It's just autocross. Just drive the Subaru. And I'm like, dude, it's 10 years old. It has 126,000 miles. And now it sits in my garage for 2 months. And then anytime I drive it, I just literally drive it as hard as possible. And then it just sits in the garage for 2 months again. So I was like, no, I'm going to trailer it down there. So I had to like rent a trailer from U-Haul, which actually wasn't bad.
Yeah.
$55.
Right.
Totally good. And
it was easy to load and stuff.
Yeah, easy to load, easy to get down there and stuff. So, but it was awesome. And then after like the 10th run, like
it wasn't so
near
awesome.
the end of the lap, I smell some coolant and stuff. So I glanced like at the, the oil temperature and the water temperature gauges, and they were both fine. So I stayed in it pretty much.
Finished the lap.
Finished the lap.
You got best import. Did you see that?
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Damn, best import.
How did I get best import?
Congratulations. I think because
how come the Lancer?
Because that was the fastest overall.
Oh, you can't win both categories?
Right. So you weren't really.
So where do I get my check?
I don't know.
Yeah, did you get your swag?
Yeah. It was $100.
Oh, that'll pay for like a radiator hose.
Yeah.
Like whatever you blew.
But yeah, so I park it and I pop the hood, with the motor still running, and there's like some misting, some coolant misting around the belts and stuff like that. And so I shut off the engine, and then it made a decent sized puddle underneath it. But
it healed itself though, didn't it?
Yeah, once it cooled down, I started it up, and it ran fine.
It's fine.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's take it back.
Yeah,
it's just sweating a little bit. Just sweating.
It's a little warm out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm guessing it's just a hose or or something like that, because it wasn't pouring out liquid.
Right. It was just.
It's probably just, I mean, it's a 10-year-old hose probably somewhere that has a crack in it.
Yeah, a lot of times those tiny cracks, like around a hose clamp or something,
Right.
they'll only really show themselves under like
Hard
extreme
pressure.
Yeah,
And it was cool because it's like unlimited runs at the thing, and only like 15 cars showed up, so you could like literally go back to back to back to like.
Yes.
Dang.
It was like as much as you in your car.
much as you
could-
wanted.
From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Yeah.
As much as you wanted to go, timed lap.
I think some of the guys did like literally like 50 laps.
Yeah, probably.
Jeez.
I got 10 in before.
Yeah. I probably did about 20,
Yeah.
Dang.
maybe low 25.
But yeah, that's way better. Like anytime we've gone to other autocross events, it's like 4 runs.
Yeah. And you didn't have, and you didn't have to
And then you have
work,
to
which is
stand on a corner to look at other cars. Like
Like a sucker.
sweet. Yeah. No chump.
Yeah, like some junk.
Community effort.
Yeah, that's weak. Some communist ideal.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Yeah. So if everyone ever has a chance to race their street car
Yeah.
or full size car on
Yeah,
a
it was a fun
go-kart
track. Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
if you sneak into the local kiddie park or whatever,
What?
you know, like a Blackbeard's type.
Oh, right.
Like
yes.
miniature golf.
Make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Okay.
Yeah, that was fun.
Well, what do you think?
I think that's good.
Call that? Or-
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
Sorry for missing last week.
Yeah.
Again.
Well, we were at Buttonwood.
Well, as they can see, we made up for it by bringing it hard.
Yeah, we brought it
in
pretty
that
hard
episode.
this time. Big
Yeah.
dudes in CRX. The title's just going to be Big Guys. CRX, Big Guys.
Maybe
Best car?
maybe we get someone to do like an custom illustration.
If there are any artists out there who want to draw,
A big guy.
send us your biggest, your best big guy in CRX MS Paint.
We'll look
feature it. Feature it in here.
We should do a reader's art.
Yeah.
Listener's
Readers art.
art.
This is a first request. Big guy in CRX. Just email it to us.
And if he could be like power shifting, you know, like, I mean, we want him not just cruising.
Yeah.
Use your artistic license. Also, shout out to our patrons.
Yes.
Yes. Once again.
We love you all.
Yeah.
Thanks for supporting us. Thanks for paying for my gas to get down here. And
And these Bud Lights.
Bud Lights and maybe some Chipotle later. Or
These
something.
balloons.
Yeah.
Fantastic
$3,
balloons.
$3 balloons.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. Well, thanks for hanging out.
Yep.
Hope you enjoyed it.
See you next time.
Yeah. See you next time.
See ya.